Services. Today we would be looking at coding for beginners. Now today's lesson is going to be an amazing adventure. It's going to usher you into the world of programming. I'm not saying it just to get you excited, but that is what I am going to assure you. At the end of this video, you would be writing your own very first line of code. Interesting, right? Now let's delve into what we have. Let's delve into the main business of today. No beating around the bush. Now, one would ask, what is coding? I will give a simple example and then we go into what we have in store today. Now, first thing first, coding is a set of instruction written to the computer, which the computer understands and carry out the instruction. Now, that's the simplest definition of what coding is. That's the simplest definition of what coding is. Now, say it this way. You, as an individual, you are an English speaker. You speak English, simply put. You speak English. And somebody from somewhere just give you a task to tell a Chinese how to prepare a cup of coffee. Not just to tell him, you are going to tell him the step by step, each process that he would do to be able to prepare the cup of coffee. Now remember, he doesn't understand English. He only understands Chinese or Mandarin, sorry. He only understands Mandarin. Now the process of you trying to translate that set of instruction from English to an understandable language which the Chinese understand is how it works when it comes to coding or programming. Coding is basically translating human language to machine language for the computer to understand and execute a particular task. Now, this is the simplest definition of what coding means. Let's go to the next one. IDE. IDE simply means Integrated Development Environment. Formerly, programmers or coders, I might use the word coders, programmers use text editor to edit their code, to write down their code in plain. Now, as technology advanced, it gave birth to what is known as an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Now someone would ask, what does IDE do basically? IDE provides a platform whereby people who want to code can code in an environment, and they would be provided tools for them to write their code, debug their code, and run their code. There are 1001 IDE. Now, this is the thing you have to put in place before we commence our class. So we have 1001 IDE. We have Notepad++, we have Dreamweaver, we have Bracket, we have Xcode, we have VS Code, we have Android Studio. Now, for the sake of this class, for the sake of this training, we are going to be making use of VS Code. And to download VS Code, it is simple. Just go and type www.code.visual studio to download VS Code. Now, I would show you how to go about it, but before we go into the main practical, because we wouldn't be doing talking, enough of the talking and the explanation. So let's look at programming language Now, programming language are language that are designed for the computer to understand a set of instruction and carry out a particular task successfully. Okay, so there are 1001 programming language. So depending on what you want, depending on the field you are delving into, you are to pick a particular programming, advisably pick a particular programming language, and then make sure you learn the programming language and be a pro or a master before going into another one. So most times I do see most of my students will be like, okay, I want to learn Java today. Tomorrow or after few weeks, they will be like, Java is really, really hard. I want to learn Python. They keep on changing. That way you can't learn. Pick one and stick by that one. Pick one and stick by it, and then learn the nitty gritty. Now, I would list a lot. I will list the available programming language and then talk about something before we delve into our computer system and start doing some coding. Now, they have different kind of programming language. We have JavaScript, we have Java, we have Python, we have PHP, we have a whole lot of them. We have Python, we have Java, we have JavaScript, we have C++, we have a whole lot of them. Okay, so Bob, you have to be specific about where you are going. I am a website developer. I base solely on JavaScript, which is a programming language for website developer. We would explain all that as we continue. So, but before we go, or before we start the practical, another thing I want you to know is